Hi friends, welcome back to Swiss University. In the previous session, we have discussed about how basically a computer works and small introduction to the computer programming language and about software also we have discussed. So in this today's session, we'll discuss about a brief history of computer programming languages. If you see nowadays, we have almost 10,000 plus programming languages in this world, but have just listed out some of the programming languages. It's very difficult for me to list out all those 10,000 plus programming languages, right? So the first programming language was developed by the programmer Ada Lovelace in the year 1842 to 1843. She has developed a piece of code which converts input instructions to Bernoulli's equation for Charles Babbage machine. During 1943 to 1945, the language Plankalgo, I was just confused how to pronounce it. So I'm pronouncing as Plankalgo. The language was developed by Zoo for Z1 system, but it was not so popular. If you see the modern programming languages era, I would say it started from 1957. So in the year 1957, the first programming language Fortran. This is a modern programming language and first high-level programming language, Fortran. So Fortran stands for Formula Translation. So this is IBM Mathematical Formula Translation System. This is a high-level programming language. It is used for numeric and scientific computing applications. It's an alternative for assembly language. And in 1958, a Lisp programming language was developed. So Lisp stands for List Processor. This is also high-level programming language used for mathematical notations. Here, new topics like tree data structures, automatic storage management, dynamic typing, and self-hosting compilers. So these are the new features they have added in Lisp programming language. But there was a need what the first two Fortran and Lisp were using for scientific and mathematical applications, but there was a need for business computations as well. So they have developed one language called COBOL. COBOL language they have developed in 1953. COBOL stands for Common Business Oriented Language. This is a high-level programming language. This is used for business computing. Nowadays, we are using this language to interact with the mainframe systems. Basically, this is for business purposes. This is the first programming language to be mandated by US Department of Defense. Then in 1960, ALGOL 60 programming language was invented. ALGOL stands for Algorithmic Language. This is the first structured and procedural oriented programming language. Structured programming language means, let us take with an example I will explain. We have a problem, so we have to solve this problem. In structured programming languages, what we do is we'll divide that problem into substructures like modules. And in the programming language, we are using loops, right? Nowadays, while loop, for loop, for each loop. So different loops we are using it. So in unstructured programming, how the procedure is like, if you want to solve a problem, so the solution for the problem will be in same one program. So it's very difficult. They will be using a go to statement and continue, break those are the statements. So the control flow is very difficult in unstructured programming language. In case of structured means the piece of code is divided into submodules like functions. So these are all structured programming languages. So COBOL ALGOL is the first structured programming language. In 1964, basic programming language was developed. BASIC stands for Beginner's All-Purpose Symbolic Instruction Code. It was designed for simplicity, used in early computer games. So in the early days, so they were using this programming language to develop games. In 1970, Pascal programming language was invented. So this was named after French mathematician and physicist Blaise Pascal. So this programming language is used for teaching structured programming and data structuring. Yeah, this was used that time. It was very popular that time, Pascal. So in 1972, most popular programming language C was invented by Dennis Ritchie and Ken Thompson. So this programming language C created for Unix operating system. Unix means Unix, not Unix. So this UNICS operating system was developed in assembly language. So C was first used in this operating system. So this is now many leading language base for whatever the languages we are using it nowadays. It's I would say it's the best C language. In 1983, they have developed one more language, that is C++. Initially, they were calling it as C with classes. So here they have included object-oriented features. In 1980, in the same year, they have developed Objective-C. So this Objective-C language, object-oriented extension of C. This is basically expanded on C, adding message passing functionality based on Smalltalk language. So Apple products were using this Objective-C while developing their applications. Apple mostly were using this Objective-C. In 1987, Perl programming language was developed. Actually, this created for report processing on Unix systems. So to get the reports and daily batch processing, all those things, to process all those things, they have developed this Perl programming language. Today, it's known for high power and versatility, this Perl programming language. After that, in 1991, Python programming language was invented. And basically, this Python programming, the name for Python, why they kept that this name means it was actually a British comedy show, Monty Python. So the developer used to watch this show. So because of that, he named this programming language as Python. This was created to support a variety of programming styles and to be fun to use. And basically, it is very fun to use. So if you are familiar with like programming language, Java, all those things. So to go back to the Python means it's very easy for you to understand and to code in Python. In 1993, Ruby programming language was invented. This was designed for productive and enjoyable programming. This Ruby. And then in 1995, Java was invented by. Do you have any idea who invented Java? James Gosling was invented Java. We'll talk more about Java in next session. Then in 1995, PHP programming language was invented. PHP stands for Hypertext Preprocessor. So this was very popular when it came into the industry, and now also it's a very popular programming language, PHP. Personal homepage. First they named it as a PHP stands for personal homepage in the initial days, then again they renamed it as Hypertext Preprocessor. So how companies like Facebook and Wikipedia are using PHP as their primary language. And the same year they have developed one more language called LiveScript. First they released it as a name as LiveScript, but it was not so popular. Then they renamed it as a JavaScript. Why? Because that time Java was leading in the market, right? That time it came into the market, so they renamed it as a JavaScript again later. What happened is, once Java came into the industry, then Microsoft people were thinking like they wanted to develop one language in competition with Java programming language. Then what they have done is they have included features of Java, and they have included some other features, and they have introduced C# programming language in 2000. In 2002, what happened is once if Microsoft releases any product, then what was happening is Java people will include the Microsoft feature, and they will add some more features, and they will release in next release. So it was a competition. It started from that, and still it's continuing. So Microsoft in 2002, Microsoft introduced .NET framework. In 2003, Scala programming language was invented. This Scala programming language includes functional and OOPS concepts. So this mostly they are using it in big data work environment or Scala programming language. In 2011, Kotlin programming language was invented. This was standardized as first-class language for Android applications. So it is similar to Java only. During 2009 to 2011, Go programming language was developed by Google. So it was developed by that guy Ken Thompson, who has contributed in C language. development is this Go language is using in Dropbox application. In 2014, Hack programming language was invented. This was developed by Facebook. And then in 2014, Shift programming language was developed. This Shift programming language they were using instead of Objective-C in Apple products. So in iOS applications, previously they were using Objective-C as their programming language to develop iOS applications, but now they are using it in iOS applications Shift as their primary programming language. So this is a brief introduction about the computer programming language. I have not listed out all those. We have many, but these are all some of the most popular and well-known programming languages. So all these programming languages history, if you see the history of these programming languages, see, it was started in the year 1842. Still nowadays, each and every day one programming language, new programming language is coming out to the industry. So we'll talk more about our main intention is Java, right? So we'll talk more about Java in next session. I'll give a brief introduction to the Java and history of Java and how Java came into the picture and differences between other programming languages and Java. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe for more updates.